Honestly guys, I don't even know how to make this entertaining for you.
Arta?
And it's even more frustrating because we saw at least 5 different fish in this pool and we worked at least on 3 of those. And we really made quite a few casts, but none of them bite. A few fish were caught on other shore, right in front of our eyes, and that brought two-way feelings. It's glad that someone can catch them, and it's really sad that you can't. But not everything is very bad. I had a couple of requests to make a video about my drift and bait presentations. People notice that I do things a little bit different than most. I don't know if I'm doing them correct way, incorrect way. It's just the things that I worked out in my head and I'm kind of trying them out, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and maybe you'll adopt some, maybe you won't like it at all. So let's talk about some baits. First one is a Daiwa deep feed, and by now you should know that it is my favorite bait for salmon fishing. I start by casting it across the main stream. I pick up my loose line and then with a few twitches I work that bait into the working depth. While it's in the slower stream, I like to twitch that bait a little bit just before it comes to the main stream. When it comes to the main stream, I let it work with the stream. It has a larger tongue and it really works good in the stream. I might make a few twitches here and there just to change the work of that bait and to make it more interesting. I found them useful in the beginning of the season when the fish is a little bit passive and the water is still very warm. Notice that I'm lifting my rod up when the bait comes to my shore, because it's getting a little bit shallower and I don't want that bait to touch the bottom. This deep going bait is a little bit different from others because you can easily pick it out of the water. Other deep going baits is really hard to take out of the water because the lip is pushing a lot of water. So in general, I like twitching most of my baits, not all of them, but this one is really good for that. It's your choice if you're gonna do it or not. As I said, I like to change the work a little bit just to make the presentation different. But you can easily hold it still in the stream and it will work perfectly. Now if you're using the MD version that has a little bit smaller lip, you kind of need to twitch it a little bit more, because the bait doesn't have that much push from the water and it doesn't work in slower streams. But when you twitch it, it has a very nice work. Next one is Bassday Sugar Minnow. It is similar bait to the deep feed. It doesn't go that deep and it has a little bit smaller tongue. And my presentation is almost the same as with the deep feed. Maybe the twitches are a little bit harder and faster, just because the bait itself has a different shape. It is more rounded, so it has a little bit lower side movement. But again, you can hold it in the stream and it will work perfectly. But if you wanna animate that bait, you can do a short, fast twitches just to make it come alive. Third bait, Pontoon21 CrackJack. I never used it heavily before last winter. I just had this thought in my head for no reason that is a very bad casting lure and I won't reach a lot of fish with it, and I kinda slipped it through my fingers. But once I tried it, first of all, it is a very good casting bait. Second thing, this bait has a very nice side movement. And differently from other baits, I try not to twitch it that much. If I wanna change the presentation, I would reel this bait in with my reel, and that will make this bait go from side to side even more, but with natural and fluid turns. So this one I try not to twitch, or twitch very little, maybe just before it reaches the mainstream. I haven't caught a salmon on this bait yet, but I have a lot of hope in it. I really like how it works. All pontoon baits has all the major colors, but also they have very unique colors. Darrow flatter. Very few people uses it and it goes under the radar a little bit. I think it's because it's not your regular bait. It's not very useful in just holding it in the mainstream as most of the other baits. It has a small lip and you really need to reel it in or twitch it a lot for it to work properly. But what I like doing with this bait, when I work on a fish and it doesn't bite, I would choose this bait, just cast it across the stream or even a little bit up the stream, let it sink, and when the bait reaches the depth, I would twitch it faster and more aggressively, because it's kinda a trout bait and you need to present it like one. This one can kinda mix up the situation a little bit and maybe the fish will react in that totally different presentation. I think you can have few of those in your box, like two with the different colors, and they might end up a day-saving bait. And Zip-Bite is known for the quality. This bait comes with huge saltwater hooks. You really don't need to change them, they are strong enough. So try these presentations and drifts by yourself. I don't know if any of them helps me or pushes me away from catching more fish, but I'm experimenting a lot. I might do these things one day and in a few trips I might change my mind completely. And you can adapt these techniques for other baits too, because most of them are very similar to one another, with a few exceptions of course. I'm really happy because I had a lot of positive feedback from the last clip I made about fishing spots and how to aim for that salmon in general. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Upcoming weekend we have a Salmon Day annual competition with a lot of people there. I hope at least one of our team can catch a fish and just make my day. Hopefully that's me, but if someone else catches one, I'll be really happy for them. And maybe while fishing in that competition I can make a few more clips with some different baits. So don't wish me well, and I will see you next week. And don't forget to subscribe, bastards.